Good morning, good night, good evening, everyone. And today we've got, well, a very different kind of replay. I completely, spaced this because this was sent to me literally at I think 11 at night. So before this last update, so I completely wasn't even. I was aware of it, but I was so tired I couldn't do anything. But we got a full beta gameplay, full beta gameplay from Andy Wani from the Asian server. You heard that correct, from the Asian server. So this is what makes it, because this is the very first one we've had from the Asian server. So that's interesting. Now he did. So I asked him to give me some perspective on how his team did. Because we can look at here, and we can look at the images he gave us. So we'll start with the first one. 212 NFL beta, will to win, 1 kill. But he's still second on top, with the Brandenburg beating him by around 500 base XP. Decent amount of damage and everything. I mean, obviously, I don't think he was running a modifier or the economic package, because that is way too low for that kind of damage. That should have at least been around 200,000. But it's unfortunate we didn't get to see the full replay. But it's very interesting. I asked him to give me some input on how his team died. Well, it says here that the Mogami was, well, in his words, reckless and challenging the first battleship fleet, and then got caught out by the Omaha fleet with only a quarter HP, and then got AP'd to death, basically. So that's one cruiser down. And then his Colorado is focused by the Omaha fleet. Didn't have any chance to reach the repair circle. So we see that sometimes, often too. And then Otago was also sunk by the Omahas and the Pincy from the first reinforcement wave. Kept going broadside to him, with probably a fire on him. And Bismarck died trying to reach the repair, was sunk by torps from the 3 destroyers. Or trying to defend the repair zone, sunk by 3 destroyers. So that is a really oh my god kind of thing. If I was in that match, I would be like, oh, it's going to be a tough match. But at the end of this stage, he says the Vermont and the Brandenburg. He tried to keep them alive as much as possible. And we can see that in the end screen, how Brandenburg's, first, 12 kills. So kudos to him. He probably got a major contribution for that. And then the Vermont, being tier 6 and bottom tier, still beat out 3 tier 8s and a 1 tier 7. So we got to give a clap to the Vermont for pulling that off. That's very impressive. But you see, he gave us how he does his attack profile. And he says he parks the CV at the spawn for more than half the game. So, right where you spawn. And he gave his why he said it was strange, but it makes honestly sense. Because think of it this way. If the CV stays at the spawn, yes, he's only really effective on the 2 of the reinforcement spawn points, but the very far one, you can't really do much on. So if it's on the 1 line, you can't do much. But if it's on the 4 and the 10 line, he can actually attack it with ease. But those islands protect him with cover. So I get what he's saying. So let's say his whole team dies. He's in a very good position, because the only one that goes down that far as bots go, is the Raptor. And usually Raptor has to be heavily damaged to make that jump for the first place. Otherwise, it'll just go up and then turn and head south. So his logic is actually very sound in how he did it. So it's very impressive in my opinion. Now he, of course, he attacks the destroyers head on, then strikes the battleships and the light cruisers, depending on your teammates' movements, of course, which is absolutely picture perfect, phenomenal gameplay thinking from right there. That's beautiful. And then attacking the Omahas, absolutely. And if a beta, the skip bombers do amazing damage. I mean, stage 1, 2, and 3 are phenomenal. After this, he's basically just attacking on situation. Keep hunting down or defend the repair circuit. He's basically outlining how he does this. And I'm absolutely very impressed. I don't even have to watch the replay. And even though I would have loved to have seen the replay, it's unfortunate. But he did really good. I mean, a will to win medal is really hard to get anymore. Like, that's a hard medal to get. Like, it's like, I mean, major contribution is fairly easy to get now, but a will to win is actually very difficult. I swear, we used to see them a lot more in Tier 6 ops, but we don't see them much anymore. So when we see one, it actually means something when a person gets a will to win. But I mean, his attack profile and his positioning may sound odd, but he's still second on the team. I mean, obviously, if the Ramon had a little bit more damage, it would have beat him, but he still beat out 4 players. And you can kind of see where the plane's coming from, because there's the repair zone. So you know his carrier's positioned, well, back on the tin line in that area, which is actually a very interesting place. But, I mean, I can't see anything wrong. I mean, from how his teammates were the ones that really goofed up. I mean, and he says this tactic can be done with good plane reserves. Kaga, Fabeda, Hornet, Lexington, I'm kind of iffy on, and Chocoloff. Those are all good carriers, and he could definitely pull that off. But it's a very interesting replay, for sure. Or replay analysis. But hopefully next time we can get it a little bit sooner so we can actually watch the replay.